Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I love to read. I've been in a reading rut for a little while, so decided to push myself to write a review every week. Welcome to week 2. If you saw last week's video, you saw the title of this week's book, Blood of the Earth, The Battle for the World's Vanishing Oil Resources by Dilip Hiro. If you're interested in hearing all about it, please keep watching. So this book was originally published back in 2007, so it's a bit older, but after reading it, I still feel it's relevant for the topic he writes about. I actually found this book in one of my favorite bookstore coffee shop combos in New Haven, so shout out to the book trader. But this was over a year ago, and shamefully, I've only just finished reading it. It has been read in bits and spurts since I purchased it, but most of the reading has been done in the last couple of weeks. This book is not what I consider a light nighttime read. It is a historically dense book with a lot of dates and names. Hiro starts at the beginning and gives a rounded history of oil, including geopolitics, people, even methods and technology changes in the field. His style of writing is not that of a story in the current popular sense of a novelesque way of telling people and events, but I like that. He's very straightforward and to the point. This is more of an academic work, and some people may find this book a bit brusque because of that. There isn't a lot of flowery language when discussing things that happened. This is what makes it so dense, though, since every sentence contains information moving the book forward, and it's not a small book. I like that bracketing the timeline of oil in the beginning of the book is a section on oil in modern life, and at the end are alternatives, each with their own small histories and possible prospects. I do wish that at the end he had taken a bit more on wind and solar, but that may also be the time at which he wrote it, and I was overall happy with how much he did cover. If you make it all the way through, you do not have to read the whole end section. There's a summary that does hit only the key, what Hiro considers the key points that move the history forward, and because of the length and density of the book, and because I read it in pieces over quite a period of time, it was nice to read the end section and be reminded of certain things at the beginning and how they really do fully tie together at the end. But after reading the book, it is not technically necessary to read that. If that is too much for you as well, he also includes a timeline separated by years with only bullet points of the most important pieces that here next to the summary section, which I think is really nice because it's a lot easier to reference than something this size of this. In the back, as appreciated in a research work, is also a reference page for his footnotes and a selected bibliography, and also an index. Because this book is now 10 years old, it would be interesting to see an updated version or an edition that just covers the 10 years and the progress and changes that have been made, and possibly even looks at which of the predictions came true, which of the predictions maybe were half correct, and which ones kind of fell flat. But despite that it's 10 years old, it is a well-rounded history. I haven't read that many histories of the oil industry, but it is a field that I am interested in. I do highly recommend this book. I think it is well researched, and when he makes his view on oil dependence clearly negative, his actual research and telling of the history stayed fairly neutral, which is part of the reason I think there isn't much flowery language going on to express extra feelings. If you do not like history, heavy books, or you're looking for a light read, or maybe if you even prefer your history in more of the storybook format, then this might not be for you. However, if you are looking for quite a bit of information, something that's going to be a good reference for the oil industry history, then I do recommend this. Have you thought about reading this book, or have you already read this book? If you have, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this review, or if things you think could have been improved, leave that also in the comments. Next week, I plan on discussing Innumeracy by John Allen Paulos, and so if you are interested in hearing about that book, subscribe, and I will see you again next week. Bye. Okay, try again. Is not a okay. One more time. Hiro technically